The ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas is now about to begin a new phase. In this conflict stained by decades of blood and politics, for the first time it seems that someone has given more power to words than to guns. Israel has released a list of 250 Palestinian prisoners, a list that brings a breath of hope in the streets of Gaza but is causing waves of unease in Israel's political corridors. The list includes names of some individuals who are a significant challenge for Israel. Is this release the first step towards peace or a prelude to an upcoming storm? Under the Gaza ceasefire agreement, the Israeli government has taken a historic step by releasing a list of 250 Palestinian prisoners who are set to be released in the coming days. All these prisoners are serving life sentences and are considered part of the hostage release agreement. This announcement came when the Israeli cabinet gave the green light to the US-backed hostage ceasefire agreement. The purpose of this agreement is to end the ongoing conflict in Gaza and safely return the remaining Israeli hostages home. The Israeli Ministry of Justice has released a list of 250 Palestinian prisoners to be released, including 15 prisoners to East Jerusalem, 100 prisoners to the West Bank, and 135 prisoners to be sent abroad under deportation. The government has clarified that before releasing these prisoners, there will be a 72-hour period during which all Israeli hostages, whether alive or dead, must be released from Hamas custody. According to sources, some last-minute changes were made to the list on Friday morning. Negotiators removed 11 prisoners associated with Fatah and replaced them with prisoners related to Hamas. This change was made at the last moment at Hamas's request, so that the organization could maintain its credibility. However, Hamas had strongly demanded the release of Fatah's senior leader, Marwan Barghouti. But yes, but his name is not included in the final list. Barghouti was sentenced to life imprisonment for planning several deadly terrorist attacks during the Second Intifada. Similarly, the names of Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine leader Ahmed Sadat and two senior Hamas commanders, Ibrahim Hamid and Hassan Salameh, are also not on the list, even though Hamas negotiators exerted strong pressure for their release. The Israeli government has also confirmed that in addition to this list, 1,700 prisoners from Gaza will also be released. These are the people who were arrested after the Hamas attack on the 7th of October 2023. Although they were not directly involved in that attack. Some of them will be sent back to Gaza, while some will be exiled abroad. The list published by Israel's Ministry of Justice that includes several notorious names, with the most prominent being Iyad Abu al-Rub, who is the commander of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad in the Jenin area of the West Bank. Al-Rub is accused of planning and overseeing three major terrorist attacks: the suicide attack in Shadmot Mehola in 2003, the explosion in Tel Aviv in 2004, and the suicide attack in Hadera in 2005, in which 13 people were killed. Additionally, Mohammad Jakar Jakar, who is accused of conspiring to murder taxi driver Gregory Raginovich in 2009. Additionally, Mohammed Abu al-Rob, who is accused of the murder of Ruben Shamilin in 2017. They are also included in the release list. Along with Hamas senior leader Mahmoud Kawasmeh, who was released during the Gilad Shalit deal in 2011, later exiled to Gaza and then re-arrested in the Gaza war of 2024. They have also been chosen for release. However, here Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has also issued a warning before releasing the prisoners. Netanyahu stated that he knew if the IDF entered Hamas's last major stronghold, namely Gaza City, Hamas would try to preserve its power. He also added that he knew if large-scale diplomatic pressure was applied, this powerful combination from our great friend President Trump would force Hamas to return all our hostages, while the IDF would remain deep inside the Strip and maintain control over all major positions. Netanyahu also promised that in the next phases, Hamas would not be armed and Gaza would be demilitarized. He warned Hamas of war, saying that if everything goes smoothly under the agreement, that's good, and if not, it will be achieved the hard way. In other words, the war continues. It is believed that this release is not just a humanitarian initiative, but part of a political and strategic balance. On the Sandeti Aake Asan Danekvihe, Israel considers this agreement necessary for the safe return of hostages. Meanwhile, Hamas will try to strengthen its position by calling it a diplomatic victory. However, some Israeli leaders and opposition parties have raised questions about this agreement. They say that releasing these Palestinian leaders could encourage future attacks and threaten Israel's security. On the other hand, there is a celebratory atmosphere in Palestine following this announcement. Many families have started preparations in the hope of their captive relatives returning. The hostage release agreement could prove to be a diplomatic turning point in the Israel-Hamas conflict. On one hand, this step opens the way for a ceasefire and humanitarian relief in Gaza, while on the other hand, it can also become a challenge for Israel's internal politics and security balance. Now, all eyes are on how both sides fulfill their promises in the coming 72 hours and whether this agreement will truly prove to be a lasting step towards peace or turn into another diplomatic test. That's all for now. Keep watching One India.
Subscribe to One India and never miss an update. Download the One India app.